And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Today we're taking a look at a game called Nuts So Fast, a game that comes with big wooden chunky nuts. And you're going to be grabbing these wooden pieces off the table as fast as you can. It's a party style game. How do you do that? Let's take a look. At the beginning of the game, you're going to set up some nuts in the middle of the table. You're going to have one almond, one pistachio, and then one less cashew and walnut than the number of players. So let's pretend it's a 4-player game, so we would only have 3 of each of these. So on a player, and then also we have 1, 2, 3. We're going to pick a nutty pose to put next to each of them. They're going to be drawn from a deck. So what happens here is you're going to turn over, when it's your turn, you're going to turn over the top 2 cards from your deck. And everyone's going to evaluate those cards. Now, it's possible at any point in time that nothing happens. And in this case, nothing happens. What you're looking for is exactly 4, 7, or 8 of a nut. So nothing happens here. So maybe on my next turn, I turn this over. Now, whenever there's a number involved, we ignore the other card, and every player has to make the pose shown on the number card, like this. First, so everyone's going to do that as quickly as they possibly can. The person who's the slowest is going to take all those cards and stick them underneath their pile. Everyone has a time to score card at the bottom of their pile, so all those cards underneath it are going to be scoring cards. When one of these cards shows up at the top of the pile, everyone's going to count how many cards they have, and whoever has the fewest cards is going to win. So you don't want these cards. So as you're turning cards over, you're going to be constantly looking. There's a number again. It'll be a heart motion. There we have the number 1 motion. So you can see the more numbers in the game, the harder it is. So now we have exactly 4 walnuts. So when we have 4 of a nut like this, then everyone is going to grab one of those. And the last person to grab is going to take all these cards. Same thing with cashews. With pistachios, same thing happens. But with pistachios, there's only one of them. So whoever grabs it decides who's going to get all the cards here. So they can help make sure that one person who's winning gets the cards. Now if you have 7 or 8, 7 or 8 is a harder trick to pull off. See, this is 5, there's 4. Here we go. That's 6. That's not even 7 or 8. Let's see if we can find a 7 or 8 combo. This is very rare, and I've almost never seen it happen in my games. But if you ever have 7 or 8 of one thing, so let's say there's 7 here. At this point, instead of grabbing the cashews, because there's 7 of them, you would grab the almond instead. And then whoever grabs that gets to take all the cards that they have underneath their scoring card at the bottom and stick them back on top. So if I had, for example, all these cards under my scoring card, now they're no longer negative points to me. They're going to be here, and I can get rid of them faster. So again, when the round ends, as soon as someone's card gets time to score, everyone counts the cards that are underneath that pile. And those are the points that you have. You write them down, and you start on another round, and now you pick 3 more nutty poses that you'll put out here, and you start the next round. And after a certain number of rounds, whoever has the fewest points is the winner of the game. Of course, the main thing here are these nuts. They're big, they're chunky, they're great. They all fit in a nice plastic container where you'll be able to slide them all into it. The cards are okay quality. They're not fantastic. They're the laminate cards that you expect with many mass market style games, such as what this is like. They're easy to see. The pictures are fun. The different poses are pretty easy to figure out what to do for each of these. They're just silly poses. And so they work well. I mean, these cards are probably going to get beat up after a lot of plays. Everyone also has their own little reference card that reminds you what you're looking for. Numbers, number, ignore the nuts, 7 nuts, 8 nuts, or 2 sets of 4. All right, well, that is that. It's kind of interesting. There's all these different nuts, and then there's this, I just threw it on the table here, the elusive almond. How many times are you going to grab this almond? You only grab it in 7, 8, or if there's 2 groups of 4. Although that's hard to do because since you claim the cards one at a time, you flip over a card, and if it makes 4 walnuts, you grab walnuts. If you flip over another card and it makes 4 cashews, you grab that. But if you have 2 cards, when you flip it over, there's 4 of 2 different ones, you grab this. I've played several games of this where the almond was never grabbed. But it's always there. It's always possible. So grabbing these blocks, it's not hard. They're big, chunky nuts. You know, they're easy to snag. It's that remembering what you're supposed to do. And, of course, the silly pose as soon as it comes up, you know, whatever the pose is. So kids are going to like this. In fact, this game is basically for kids, other than... You know, there is the innuendos that will probably happen from what the name is of this game. But for the most part, the kids are going to like making the silly faces and do things. You saw that question mark show up in the last one. When the question mark shows up, you can pick whatever the pose is, whoever's the starting player. So this is a little bit different. You know, this genre is not a... This is not the only game in this genre. There's lots of games where you flip cards and grab things. So there's nothing super new here. The main difference is you're looking for groups of 4 and 7. So there's more of a look, go, and grab. And then what are you grabbing? It might be different depending on what you're going to see 4, 7, 8, or mostly just 4 of is going to happen most of the time. So I like it. I don't think it's fantastic, but I think for what it is, it works really well with super high quality components and some really silly things that can happen. And I think a lot of people are going to like Not So Fast. Dice Tower Judgment approved.